So I thought we could do something quite gentle today, just a little bit stretchy, sort of just get things moving a little bit really, just give you some bit of energy. So let's, as we always do, get your feet nice and flat on the floor so you really are nicely grounded, and obviously just come away from the back of your chair a little bit so you've got a little bit of space. It does allow you to come into a nice upright position. So just bring the shoulders down your back, and again, if you do feel happy closing your eyes, just allow them to gently shut. Just coming into a nice sense of stillness. So just observing that breath as it moves in and out, just very gently, very slowly, just observing, not changing your breath. It's quite nice sometimes to set an intention for what you want to achieve in practice. Sometimes it might not be anything at all, but sometimes you might want to just add a word in, like energize or relax, or just enjoy the next half an hour of your time. As you do continue to breathe, just really notice the heaviness of your body through the chair and through your feet, just grounding down into the earth. Just noticing any sensations or tension anywhere in the body, and if you do feel tension in any muscles, it's quite nice just to breathe into those areas. Really see if you can relax them a little bit more, so just make them really heavy, just focus and just release. Keep the eyes shut if you want to, or you can open them depending on how you're feeling. Let's bring your hands onto your shoulders. Just going to do some nice big circles with those elbows. Just imagine you're drawing circles with them. Just very gently opening up, releasing any tension in those shoulders. And then maybe just doing circles the opposite direction. Keeping the breath really steady, so don't try to hold your breath in any of these moves, just really breathing into them. And then just releasing those hands down, maybe shaking out those wrists. Wonderful. Let's just come into a nice upright position again. We're going to just release any tension in the neck, so let's just draw your chin down towards your chest. So you should feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of your neck. Just roll your right ear over to the right shoulder. Just feel that lovely stretch in the left side of the neck. And sometimes you can feel it in the left side of the neck, but sometimes it's quite nice just to move the chin up towards the ceiling or down towards the floor a little bit, just to see if you can isolate any other areas that feel particularly tight. And again, just use that breath. Once you've found it, just use that breath to release. Just turn your head now, just look over that right shoulder. And just to make that head really heavy, just drawing down towards your chest. And then let's just tilt that left ear over to the left shoulder. The opposite side. And again, if you want to, again, just moving that chin up towards the ceiling or down towards the floor. Just finding any areas that you feel particularly comfortable or even quite nice. And then turn that head just to look over that left shoulder. And then draw that chin back down towards your chest again. And then we're going to bring that head back up. Okay, so it's going to release any muscles or any tension in the feet. So let's bring both your feet out. So you might want to come just to the edge of your chair a little bit. Just stretching those legs out. So bring the toes up towards the knees. So just stretch the heels away. Just so you can bring the toes up towards the knees. So you've got a really strong stretch now on the back of those legs. Sometimes it's quite nice just to adjust the feet as well, so almost like you're bringing the little toes up first and then bringing the big toes up. So you're just adjusting that tension so that you get a little bit of stretch in different parts. So just opening out the feet so the little toes come up towards the knees. And then just bringing the big toes up towards the knees. It should feel a little bit different. And then just stretching the toes out, so just pointing those toes. So again, you've got a nice stretch on all of those calf muscles. Okay, so we're going to just bend your left knee now. We're going to bring your right leg in towards your chest. So just grabbing hold of the back of that leg. And again, just see if you can do some big circles with that shin. Just get the movement into those knees and then the opposite direction. Fantastic. And if you want to, you can make the circles even bigger. Just bring in the hip in there as well. Just rotating that hip a little bit if it feels okay. You can do the hip and the shin if you want to as well. Doesn't feel as if it's part of your body, but and then let's just place that right foot onto your top of your left thigh. So coming into a nice pigeon pose here. So this is quite a strong stretch across that glute. If it's a little bit too strong or you can't feel it, you can just close up the knees a little bit more if you want to. Try to make sure that you flex that right foot as well. It just gives a little bit of protection to that knee. And we're going to come into a little bit of a forward fold here. So try to keep the chest open, try to keep your head up. Just bring the weight forward a little bit. So you should get a little bit more of a stretch into that glute. So just be guided by how that feels. It might be a little bit uncomfortable. It might feel okay. Just trying to keep that breath going as well. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a twist in here now. So we're going to come back up to centre, just straightening up the back, and we're going to turn and twist away from that knee. So we're going to bring your your right hand onto the bottom of that foot, just twist the chest round to the left. And if you can, it's quite nice to see if you can ease that left shoulder blade a little bit further behind you, just to twist that chest round. And then slowly let's release back to centre. Fantastic. So let's bring that right foot onto the floor. We're going to do the same with the left. So just bring the left leg in. And again, just very gently circle that shin round. One way then the other. And again, if you want to bring that hip in as well. Just circling that hip. You don't need to if you've got issues with your hips, it might be a little comfortable, but again, if it feels okay, it's quite nice just to get a little bit of movement in, go in the opposite direction, going the whole way around there. And then let's bring that left foot on top of your right thigh, and again, making sure you flex that foot to make sure you protect that knee, okay? So keeping a nice straight back, we're going to come into a lovely forward fold from here again. So again, the more forward you come, the more you should feel that in your glute. So again, it's a really nice stretch there, particularly if you've been sitting down quite a lot. It's quite nice just to get that movement back in there. Just breathing and then slowly coming back up. We're going to do that lovely twist over to the right. So let's bring your left hand onto the bottom of your foot, just twist your chest round to the right. So just see if you can ease that shoulder blade a little bit further behind you. Come back to centre and place both your feet back onto the floor. Okay, so we're going to come into a standing pose now. So let's come into standing. We're going to turn your chairs just so that the seat is facing you. Okay, so probably come about a couple of foot away from your chair. And we're going to just come into a little bit of a lunge. So we're going to bring your left foot onto the seat of your chair. That's it. So try and keep the pelvis nice and level with that chair. We're going to slowly bring the weight into that front knee, just getting a little bit of a stretch onto that back leg. So again, this is down to how it feels for you. You might want to stay here. You might want to go really for it, just bringing the weight forward. So the stronger you go, you've got to stretch at the back of that Achilles, but also into that hip flexor there as well. So again, just breathing into that stretch. Now slowly we're going to come back, leveling back off. And we're going to straighten that left leg now. So bring that toes up towards the ceiling, so flexing that foot. We're going to come into a bit of a forward fold. So again, you've got more of a stretch on the back of that left leg there. If you want to, you can bring your hands onto the chair if they'll get there. Just use support if you need to. And then gently, just releasing back up. So let's bring both your feet together. I'm going to do the same on the second side. So again, you might notice one side feels a lot different from the other. So again, just be guided by how that feels. So bringing your right foot onto the chair, just bending that right knee. And again, just bringing the weight forward a little bit. So again, it doesn't matter how far forward you come, you can just stay here, or you can really sink into that. So again, either way, if you can keep your back heel down, it just gets a really strong stretch on that Achilles. But again, you've got a nice hip flexor stretch there as well. And then we're just going to slowly bring the weight back, straightening that right leg. And I'm going to just flex that right foot onto the chair seat, coming into a forward fold. You don't have to come into a forward fold if it's too uncomfortable. But again, make sure you've got a little bit of support. You can touch the chair seated back if you can get there. Gently coming back up. Let's bring both your feet nice and flat on the floor. So we're going to turn the back of your chair around so it's facing towards you now. Bend. So again, put that foot from the back of the chair. We're going to do some heel raises again, just to get a little bit of stretching in the back of those legs. So just roll the weight forward into your toes, bring your heels off the floor. So there's a little bit of a toe balance. Just try to make sure that you are getting all your toes nicely gripped into the floor. Now you have an option if you want to, just see if you can let go of that chair. And then lowering yourself down either with your hands on the back of the chair or without. And move it back up again. So again, either holding onto your chair or without. Just try and find a point of focus. Really breathe, really relax your shoulders. And slowly releasing back down. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to take a big step back with your right foot. Nice hip width apart. We're going to come into a nice pyramid pose. So try to make sure that your left hip is just kicking back a little bit so your pelvis is nice and level, coming into a lovely forward fold. You can rest your forearms onto the back of your chair. And let's slowly come back up. We're going to just swap legs, so bring your right leg forward, your left leg back. Again, making sure that that back heel stays down. Just bring your right hip back. Just bring the weight back into both those legs, coming into that forward fold. And then coming back up. Let's keep your back foot where it is. We're going to step the right foot to join your back foot. We're going to come into a downward dog. Just bring the weight forward. It's just quite good to bring the weight into your heels a little bit as well. So you're really pushing back with your bottom to get a stronger stretch there. So it's quite nice being actually in this position, just to release any tension in your neck as well. So if you want to just Move your head a little bit from side to side if there's any tension left in there. That's quite nice. And then gently, let's just come back up. I'm going to turn the chair back around again, coming back onto a nice seated position. Into a nice warrior, not warrior pose, sorry, into a goddess pose. But it's come with the legs nice and wide. Just bringing your knees over your feet to about sort of 45 degrees or so. Okay, so we're going to come into a little bit of a forward fold here. So if you bring your hands just on the inside of the thighs, try to keep your chest open, just bring that weight forward. So again, you've got quite a strong stretch on the inside of your groin. A little bit of a pull on that lower back maybe as well. Wonderful. So if that feels okay for you, let's bring your left hand down to the floor, if you'll reach. And then let's see if we can bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. So again, it's quite a strong twist. If you don't want to do that with the arm up, you can just hook it just behind your lower back, just to twist your chest around to the right. And then let's swap arms. So we're going to bring your right arm back down onto the floor, twisting round to the left. So again, the left arm can come up, or you can just bend it, just tuck it onto your lower back. Just keeping the breath steady. And then slowly coming back to centre. Let's bring both our hands down onto the floor. Slowly walking the hands a little bit closer in towards your chair, slowly coming up to sitting into a nice upright position, just very gently. Fantastic. So let's bring the knees back together. So we're going to do a couple of breaths in. So we're going to bring the arms by your side. We're going to breathe in, breathing nice and full and deep, arms up. And then we're going to twist around to the right. Let's bring your left hand onto the outside of that right knee. Use the back of that chair just to twist the chest around to the right. And then gently coming back to centre. We're going to sweep the arms up back overhead, twisting round to the left. Bring the right hand on the outside of that left knee. Use the back of that chair just to give a little bit more purchase to twist that chest around. And then gently coming back to centre. Wonderful. So just releasing any more tension. Just getting ourselves nice and settled. So we're going to come into a nice meditation. So if you want to come to the back of your chair a little bit, just so you're still sitting upright, but just you've got a little bit more of your thighs on the chair. Eyes shut. So just resting the hands on the top of your thighs. Just coming into that lovely gentle breath. So just slowly allow that breath just to gently ease in and out. Like we did before, we're just observing that breath. Not trying to change it in any way. Don't forget, it's not just you that's breathing, you're just allowing that body to breathe, but also not just the belly, it's also the whole of your body. So the whole of your body will gently be moving up and down as you're breathing in and out. Just experiencing those sensations. You might even notice little thoughts coming into your heads. That's what thoughts do. Brain is just full of energy, and those thoughts just pop up. The main thing is trying to just observe those thoughts. Don't get activated by them or follow those thoughts. Just imagine them, it's a bit like clouds or balloons, just floating away. Don't go chasing those clouds or balloons though, or those bubbles, just watch them float by. But just allow those thoughts to actually come. Coming and going, breathing in, breathing out. Using that breath as an anchor just to draw you back. Every time you find that those thoughts are wandering off, gathering momentum, just set them free, just allow them to float away. Just coming back to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Also notice as you're focusing on that breath, where are you focusing? Focusing on the belly rising and falling. What are you focusing on? The sensation of your nostrils and that breath moving in and out. Just choose one. Whatever sensation comes to mind as you're thinking about your breath. Stay focused on that sensation. Just allowing that mind just to do what it does. Watching it from a distance, just observing it. Just letting those thoughts float away. Very slowly, let's just bring our awareness back into our sense of hearing, just listening out for sound around you. Become aware of the sensations of your body on the chair, just visualizing where you are in the room. Bring your senses back into the present moment. Just bring a little bit of movement into those fingers, into those toes. Slowly waking yourself up. If you feel you need to stretch yourself out, get those last little moments of tension away. And you feel ready just to gently opening your eyes down towards the floor. Just letting that light in slowly. Bringing your hands into your heart center. As always, just offer yourself that congratulations for just taking that time out of your day when you maybe not feeling it, just to give yourself a little bit of nourishment, a little bit of self-care. As always, I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.
Okay.